Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we'll be taking a look at the upcoming Psychic Cup, and more specifically, Shadow Gardevoir. Shadow Gardevoir looks to be absolutely broken in the Psychic Cup, boasting an 88% win rate versus all eligible Pokemon in the 2 Shield. To test it out, I ran some practice Psychic Cup battles versus members of my Discord. So I'll be showcasing those battles first, and then I'll be discussing what you can do if you're playing the Psychic Cup to help fight back against Shadow Gardevoir. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Gardevoir in action in the Great League. Tough lead in the first match, Victini into Malamar. I save switch into Shadow Gardevoir, and my opponent responds with a Bronzong. Despite the fact that Bronzong does have the type advantage in this matchup, Gardevoir can win switch over Bronzong in the 2 Shield, whether it's running Confusion or whether it's running the recommended Feint attack. Gardevoir goes for the Charm Down, has to give up both shields, but just like that, I am able to win back switch advantage. I'm down 2 shields, but I have quite a bit of energy on Gardevoir. Back in comes the Malamar. I'm going to fire off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does get the shield. Malamar taking massive charm damage, and they're going to be forced to fire off a move. But at this point, I've won switch advantage, so I should be in a pretty good spot here. I'm going to bring in Galarian Rapidash and do what Galarian Rapidash does best, spam out Body Slams. Body Slam gets the shield from Malamar. Malamar continues to farm up. They have a ton of energy here. No more shields. They go for the Hyper Beam. That takes me out. I bring in Victini, and they have Shadow Alakazam in the back. I'm going to fire off the V-Create before they're able to reach a Shadow Ball. That will take down the Alakazam. I am able to Quick Attack down the Malamar, and that is a good game. The bad leads continue in the next match, Victini into Claydol. I'm going to save switch into Shadow Gardevoir, and my opponent is staying in, which means odds are they probably don't have a great response to a Gardevoir in the back. They're going to be firing off a Rock Tomb. I'm going to commit the shield. It does lower my attack, but even with the lowered attack, Gardevoir able to Charm Down and leave with a 1 HP Shadow Ball. My opponent brings in a Shadow Mewtwo, and they are going to commit the shield on the Shadow Ball. Shadow Mewtwo, definitely more of a spice pick. It does a tremendous amount of damage, but it has absolutely no bulk whatsoever. Mewtwo fires off the Psy Strike, nearly takes out the Rapidash. Rapidash farms up to the back-to-back Body Slams. Mewtwo has a tough decision to make. They will commit the final shield and make a very nice catch, catching my final Body Slam onto a Lugia. So they're running double Shadow Legendaries in the back, but at this point, I should be in the driver's seat of this match. I'm going to farm up, fire off the V-Create just before they're able to reach their Sky Attack, and thanks to the quick energy generation of Quick Attack, I'm going to be able to outpace, reach a second V-Create. This will be taking out the Mewtwo, and Victini able to clutch the win. Hopping into the next match, leading Victini into the mirror. I definitely do need to stay in this matchup. Opponent is actually going to switch out as they bring in Hypno. I'm going to farm up and fire off the Overheat. Overheat does give Victini a very nice nuke for this meta. I'm able to land it, and I'm going to bring in the Galarian Rapidash. I will respect the potential Shadow Ball, and they do go straight for it. Unfortunately, it's not looking like I'm going to be able to farm down, so I just farm up to the back-to-back Body Slams here. Body Slam goes unshielded as my opponent knew I was at the back-to-back. Back in comes Victini. I'm going to farm up and fire off the Mega Horn. Mega Horn does not one-shot, but it's going to do a ton of neutral damage, and I'm able to reach a Body Slam. This will be applying a lot of pressure onto the Victini. Victini commits the shield. Victini continues to farm up. They have so much energy. At this point, I'm just going to let the Rapidash go. So Rapidash unfortunately gets taken out. I bring in Victini. In the back, they have their own Shadow Gardevoir. I actually stopped tapping there at the end so I can get an energy lead onto my Victini. The reason being, I need to be able to reach back-to-back V-Creates. They fire off a move. I call it. It's the V-Create. I'm able to Quick Attack farm down, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, picking up a nice lead, Victini into Galarian Rapidash. Rapidash is staying in, which means odds are they could be weak to Victini somewhere in the back as well. Rapidash is going to fire off a move. I'm going to let the first one go, just a Body Slam, and I'm going to fire off the V-Create. V-Create will be doing massive damage or grabbing a shield, and then I save switch into Shadow Gardevoir, but it's a simultaneous save switch. Gardevoir into Malamar. Malamar fires off the foul play. Gardevoir tanks it and is able to Charm Down. That is incredible. Do they bring back in that Galarian Rapidash? They do not. They bring in their final Pokemon, which is Shadow Metagross. Shadow Metagross is one of only 7 Pokemon in this meta that beat Shadow Gardevoir in the 2 shield. Meteor Mash gets the shield. I have the double V creates loaded to apply some hurt onto this Metagross. Metagross actually just takes the damage. They're putting it all on Galarian Rapidash. This V create will do a ton of damage. They're forced to burn the final shield. And now I just bring in the Rapidash. I'm going to let this go. Whatever they throw, perfectly fine by me. They go for the Body Slam. That does a ton. And at this point, I'm just going to let it go because Victini should be able to win me this game. They're running Play Rough. Play Rough takes me out, but Victini is going to be able to reach the V-Create. V-Create will easily take out the Rapidash. And that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Victini into another Galarian Rapidash. You absolutely love to see it. They're staying in, and that works perfectly for me. I'm just going to farm up a ton of energy, and they're going to fire off a move. I tank whatever they throw. They fire off the Body Slam, save switch into a Shadow Latios, which will be absolutely deleted by Shadow Gardevoir. They fire off the Dragon Claw. Gardevoir tanks it like it's nothing. In the back, they have Victini. Victini appears to be trying to go for a farm down, but Victini is paying a heavy price to do so as these resisted charms are tearing through Victini. Victini shields up the Shadow Ball. Victini farms down, but they are in the red health from resisted charms. I bring in my Victini, go for the V-Create, but I lose CMP. I'm going to let it go. My Victini barely able to hang on and fire off the last second V-Create. Do they want to keep their Victini alive? They do. I bring in my Rapidash, and they bring in theirs. I have 2 shields. Honestly, I may as well start using them, so I will commit the shield. They fire off the Body Slam. I should be able to commit the second shield here as well, and I just need to farm up, so I have the Mega Horn to take out their Rapidash, and the Body Slam so I can take out the Victini. Mega Horn will be taking out their Rapidash, and I have the Body Slam to take out the Victini. Galarian Rapidash closing strong, and that is a good game. Dream lead in the next match, Victini into Shadow Metagross. With 2 fairy types in the back, I'm very happy to catch the steel type on the lead. I'm going to farm up and fire off the V-Create before they're able to reach a move. V-Create does get the shield. Metagross farms up, banks a move, and brings in regular Slowking. And I'm just going to be able to one-shield charm this all the way down with Shadow Gardevoir. Gardevoir does need to respect the move from Slowking, but I'm going to fully charm down, and I leave fairly close to a Shadow Ball as well. Opponent waiting out their clock. I'm expecting they're going to bring back in the Metagross, and they do. Metagross going for the farm down, but they're going to have to give up a shield to do so. Gardevoir fires off the Shadow Ball, gets the shield from Metagross. In comes Victini, and they overtap. That is massive. V-Create takes down the Metagross. In the back, they have Malamar. I'm going to bank a move and bring in Rapidash. Rapidash does tank 1 foul play here. It does hit for quite a lot of damage, but I am going to be able to absorb it, reach the Mega Horn. Mega Horn hits for double super effective, so that will easily take out the Malamar, and that is a good game. And now that we've seen how dominant 2-shield Shadow Gardevoir can be, let's talk about ways to beat it. First off, there are only 7 eligible Pokemon that beat Shadow Gardevoir in the 2-shield. They are Cresselia, Poison Jab Galarian Slowbro, Charm Shadow Wobbuffet, and then Metang and Metagross and their shadows. So bringing one of those Pokemon is a definite way to help. The other way that I would recommend is running spammier Pokemon, so that way you can apply shield pressure to your opponent. If you can even just get 1 shield from your opponent, 1-shield Gardevoir is significantly less scary than 2-shield Gardevoir, allowing you to have a much easier time taking it out. And now, knowing what we know, let's take a look at how these next 2 opponents play. Hopping into the next match, we pick up a great lead. Opponent is going to save switch into Alolan Raichu. I'm going to stay in with Victini, fire off the V-Create. This will do a ton of damage onto the Raichu. Raichu commits the shield, and they're going to fire off the Thunder Punch. They do have the back-to-back. I'm hoping they're going to overfarm 1 extra, but they do not. And now, if I want to keep my Victini alive, which I kind of need for the Cresselia, I'm forced to commit both shields. And with shields down, Shadow Gardevoir is significantly less effective. I'm able to take them out. I need to switch because I'm debuffed. And in the back, they have a fantastic counter to Shadow Gardevoir in Galarian Slowbro. I fire off the Mega Horn. Mega Horn does quite a bit of damage. but they have a ton of energy and a shield advantage. They bring back in Cresselia into my Victini. I'm going straight for the overheat. This will do a ton of damage if it lands. Cresselia does commit the shield. That is unfortunate. I'm going to fire off the V-Create. This will do a solid chunk of damage onto the Cresselia. I believe that was a CMP tie, but they're going to be able to take out the Victini. And with no shields, Shadow Gardevoir is honestly taken out very easily. I bring in Gardevoir, and they can just fire off 2 moves here, and I'm just going to be taken out. They fire off the first Grass Knot. Gardevoir not going to be able to charm down, and as you can see, without shields, Shadow Gardevoir is a lot more manageable, and my opponent is able to get the win. Hopping into the final match, sitting Victini into Shadow Gallade. Honestly, my entire team does very well against Gallade. Opponent is going to save switch into Galarian Slowbro, and I need to stay in here. This is one of the only Pokemon that can beat Shadow Gardevoir in the 2-shield, so I'm going to stay in, shield the Sludge Bomb, and build up to the back-to-back V-Creates. This will do a ton of damage if it lands, which it does, but it debuffs my defense. I get worried about how much damage I'm taking, and I fire off a second V-Create. That is going to be taking out the Slowbro, but I'm very debuffed. So basically, whatever they bring in, I need to switch. Opponent waiting their timer. They have Galarian Slowking, and I'm going to bring in Shadow Gardevoir. Despite the fact that these charms are resisted, they are absolutely tearing through the Slowking. This is a matchup where Gardevoir can win in the 2-shield, but as you noticed, I had to commit a shield earlier, meaning that now Galarian Slowking is going to be able to take down my Gardevoir. My Gardevoir gets taken out, I bring in Rapidash, and they bring back in the Shadow Gallade. I'm going to fire off the Body Slam. Body Slam gets the shield from Gallade. Gallade looks like they're committing to the farm down. I'm going to fire off this last Body Slam, hoping that my clock is going to be up. It is, and I'm able to snipe with a V-Create. That's massive. Gallade dies with a ton of energy. Back in comes Slowking. Slowking able to farm down. Can I Fairy Wind down with Rapidash? I cannot, and I lose a heartbreaking game. All in all, if you're going to be running Psychic Cup this next week, make sure you are prepared for Shadow Gardevoir. Whether that's running the one of only 7 Pokemon that beat it in the 2-shield, or making sure that you're strategizing to get your opponent's shields down, making sure you have a plan for Shadow Gardevoir will be essential for the Psychic Cup, because if you do not, 2-shield Shadow Gardevoir is about to be an absolute nightmare. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.